Hello, my name is Julia Godoy. I'm a U.S. citizen living in Dubai for a few years. I will like to talk to you a little about my venture through cancer. I started out as a patient with ovarian cancer when I was 21 years old. Um, Clear for 10 years. On the night that I thought I was going to celebrate that I'd be cancer free, and in the 10th year, I found out that afternoon that I had breast cancer. And at that point, my family and I were moving away from one state to the other. And it was inconvenient for me to tell my children at the time, or at least that's what I told myself. So that's in February of 1986. By June of 1986, a friend of mine that was the doctor that found the cancer in New Orleans called to see if I had finally had the cancer removed and started treatment and so forth. Well, of course, I hadn't even told the family I had cancer. So by the time I finally talked to him, he was very blunt. He said he would be on a flight this afternoon and I would be going into the hospital the next morning. And I knew he was serious. So he gave me the gentleman that he worked very close with. I go to see him that evening, and then I find out, okay, he scheduled me for surgery the next morning. Still haven't told my family. So, let me back up. I was a registered nurse during this period. Right, so it wasn't to me, it was big, but it wasn't a big deal. So then it sort of began after that. I ended up having radical mastectomies and lumpectomies under both arms and both breasts removed. Family found out, stayed in shock. Afterwards, though, the surgery was quite successful, and I was able to get back to my normal life within 14 to 16 days after the original surgery. Other than not lifting and things, I could still sort of function.
How did you feel when you lost your hair?
When I lost my hair the first time with the first cancer was horrendous because I went home and I had a young baby, and I don't know, I think I convinced myself that the hair really wouldn't fall out. And of course, when it does start falling out, it's in big clumps. It looks like you've had radiation poisoning. So then I gradually let it and I cut it off. But when I found out about the breast cancer, I went right away and shaved my head. At that point, my daughter is 11 years old, and I felt that it was terrifying to her to have to see me go through that again. So I shaved my head and got ready for the treatment and had the surgeries done, the treatment starts. The treatment for me was really quite okay. There was no radiation the second time, so it was just chemotherapy. What was very sad at my time, I still was only in stage 1 or 2. My friends and people that I met that I became associates with, many of them were farther advanced cases. So I quickly learned when I went for chemotherapy, it was difficult to talk to the women that were also going through the same steps as I was, simply because many of them did not survive. Cancer in 1986 compared to cancer today is a completely different story.
But you survived. How did? It's because you detected it early.
I detected it early, but I had learned from the first cancer. After the first cancer, I was a young woman. I dropped down to 26 kilos. I was 50 pounds. I found that the only way I could survive with the nausea and all the side effects that you had from the radiation and the chemotherapy, that I needed to eat. And I had to eat and eat and eat and eat. And it didn't matter how much that I couldn't tolerate the food and how much nausea or throwing up there was, I just taught myself to always eat. I knew that's what saved me from the first round. And I surround myself with happiness, even today. I found people that make me very happy if I'm not having a good day. And then too, I would get old movies that made me happy. Happy, happy, happy is what saves you from cancer. Food will save you from cancer. But the state of mind that you get in when you're having treatment is so desperate. And if you don't surround yourself with happiness and you don't surround yourself with loved ones, I think then you slip farther into a deeper depression. If you are a mother or you're a young wife or you're a sister or whatever your place is within the family unit, you need them around you. You need their support. unless they're too negative. If they get too negative, you need to take a space from them, just a little bit. But happiness, whatever makes you happy, get out and sing. And don't worry about whether you're going to die or not. We're all going to die. We didn't have any choice when we were born. We came into this world with no choice, and we came in fighting. And I hope that that's what most people will do, is they'll go out fighting for the struggle. But it doesn't have to be a struggle. It's a part of your life. You can't go back. It's already there. So I look upon any illness, any problems that I have, that today's any other day of my life. And if I waste time worrying about an illness or worrying about what will be in the future, I won't have today. And today's all I really have. And it's all you really have as well.
How else do you make yourself happy other than music?
I surround myself with happiness. If I don't have a happy day, I love animals, so I volunteer for a bunch of animal rescue groups. I have multiple rescues I keep myself. I have a lot of extended family here that, my grandchildren aren't here, my children aren't here. But there are so many people to love, and so everyone is so kind to you. You just have to reach out for them. So I find things to do. I'll go to the cinema, but I don't sit home and I don't think twice about what the problem is. If I have pain, I thank God I had a good day and I relaxed that day, but you can be sure the next day I'm going to be up and around and being functional again. I can't spend one day of my life feeling sorry for myself.
What's your advice to another cancer patient?
Take it one day at a time. That's what life is. One day at a time. And always remember, you did not choose when you were going to be born, and you will have no choice when it's time for you to go. But if you miss 1 second of life, 1 second that you could have a smile or laughter or love, you've wasted that part of your life and you can never get it back. Live for today, because you will find after you're a cancer patient, all we have is today. We're just a little bit more aware than the common rest of the world. And it's important that we come out being positive survivors. It's important to other sisters, other brothers that come with this disease, that we're more knowledgeable, that we make sure that our families are not going to be burdened with this. Just be happy. There's not enough words to talk about being happy and finding your center point that makes you happy. And on the worst day, just think, you know what, tomorrow will be fun. I'm going to go out tomorrow and eat a hot dog or have a glass of wine or whatever it is that makes you happy. And then make sure that next morning you get yourself up. And maybe that day all you can do is walk around the house. Turn on and watch a funny show. Do something that makes you happy. Stay in bed when you need to stay in the bed. But the minute that you think that you can get out and contribute again, even if it's going window shopping, do it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.